Now let's just change our gears and talk about one of the hottest topic right now, AI. At KubeCon, it feels like every other session is about it. My interviews here, 3 or 4 a day, every day, 90% of them are about AI. Jonathan Bryce recently said that the bridge to AI native workload has to be built on solid cloud native fundamentals. I don't want to debate for or against AI, but looking at these new workloads, what role do you see open source, CNCF, Kubernetes, and even the Linux kernel can play in enabling those workloads?
I don't think that we're doing anything more to enable AI workloads than any other like proprietary tooling. We're enabling it by virtue of Kubernetes being the default way to orchestrate something running in a bunch of containers in a distributed manner, potentially across clouds. So we're not doing anything special. We're just here, and we're what people run big complicated applications on now. So some AI workloads are getting run on it. Um, I also don't think that this is going to last. There was a state of Kubernetes report out fairly recently. I was talking about it on another thing yesterday, and there was a bit in there about the huge growth in the number of AI workloads people reported running on Kubernetes. And the author made some assumptions based on that growth that it would soon be like the dominant use case for Kubernetes. I extremely don't agree. We're seeing an increase in AI workloads running on Kubernetes because AI is hot right now and because people like filching VCs, which I entirely respect. Please get your bag, especially from people with like a ton of money and no sense. But I think this is going to die out because a lot of these AI workloads, a lot of these like trendy AI tools are in fact just cute wrappers on 2 or 3 other AI tools that are maybe actually doing something innovative. And there's a small handful of these innovative tools and an ocean of probably mostly useless shiny wrappers that are being put on them. So I really think that this is going to mostly die quickly. This looks like the Web3 blockchain hype to me. And I think that we're going to see companies and tools that can integrate AI in a way that is intelligent and actually useful without being catastrophically expensive. And everybody else is just going to fold. And we're going to look back on this a year later and we're going to find this all really embarrassing, the way everybody like hard pivoted to AI overnight. The same way it's really embarrassing when we look back at the Web3 thing. So, um, yes, AI workloads are getting run on Kubernetes. No, I don't think we're doing anything special or specific to enable that. It's just in a lot of keynotes at KubeCons because that's what investors want to hear. That's it. It's a scam.
I hear the skepticism and I agree with some of it. But let me ask, is this more about how we define open source in the context of AI, or is it about AI itself being overhyped? What is the real reason behind that doubt?
I think the entire current bet of like everybody betting hard on it is wrong. I think that not nearly as many of the applications we see for it are as useful as people claim. Most of them, I think, are not useful at best, and at worst are actively a scam. There are specific challenges with respect to AI in open source, because like what are you training it on? Is the data set open source? Does the data set not being open source have implications for the open sourceness of its output or of the model itself? What is in that black box? Like there are certainly implications there. Every open source foundation on the planet has like some kind of special interest group or working group or policy in place that's attempting to define a standard for that. And that problem is definitely not solved yet. There is a new AI working group standing up within the Kubernetes project right now that's been blowing up my inbox for the last month while it tries to form itself, because there are decisions we have to make and policies we have to write about how we interact with AI. But we ourselves as a project are not doing anything special to make it easier to run AI workloads on Kubernetes. It's a container, have fun, you know?
Yes, there is a lot of AI washing going on there. Companies just slap the name AI on their products, whether it has anything to do with AI or not, it realistically. But I'm also seeing a lot of real innovation in production where AI is transforming a lot of things. But I don't want to get into that debate. Now I want to hear from you, Dali. What are your thoughts on AI?
As you correctly clocked, there's all kinds of AI washing, and every company is trying to throw it in their product, which interesting and predictable, in my opinion, as if you look at the Stack Overflow 2025 survey, which I think is much more authentic and paints a much more holistic view of how we actually feel about the industry and where things are at and what tooling we like and what not. Way better than, paid engagements through analyst firms and stuff like that. This is really the most raw and authentic you can get. And so the people, the users, such as myself, I'll make the example of, that, adding agentic AIs to all these different cloud services and these developer frameworks around AI and this and that, that was almost the bottom of the barrel, least priority for where many of the software DevOps engineers are at today in terms of questions like what turns you off about a technology stack, and the lack of its AI implementation was way on the bottom. So there's a similar question about, what are things that you're looking for, that you enjoy. Again, AI way at the bottom. So the thing about AI is that it's just like anything else. Let's go back to Kubernetes. We had a bubble around Kubernetes where it was just the hot thing that everyone was talking about. There were some people that understood, okay, this solves actually a very specific problem. There's a certain type of use case for this that we would greatly benefit from. It gets us through a bottleneck. There's also a lot of people just caught up in the hype, doing things that made no sense, like running a self-managed Kubernetes cluster just to host a landing page. You could have just done that with an S3 bucket and a static website, but they'll do it. They'll go, they'll jump into it. We're seeing the same thing with platform engineering. It works for some when it's implemented right and when you really understand what problem it is solving for you and understand the why it's solving that problem for you. Does that mean that there aren't a whole bunch of companies just running headfirst into it because of all the marketing, and they're spending money and they're expecting savings and they're never seeing it because they don't actually understand the problem that they're trying to solve with it? AI is no different. That's just unfortunately the way the industry works. We're going to throw a whole bunch of money at it, light a whole bunch of money on fire. It's going to solve some really specific problems for some people, and a lot, known or unknown, are going to get burned by it. So it's like this with every paradigm. AI just happens to be the focal point at the moment.